This is an unacceptable situation for other cousins. All of a sudden, everyone began to think desperately about the countermeasures. Elder Wade's mood suddenly cleared up, and he could already determine that the opportunity for the Wade family to take off that the old master Lai Qinghua said was Charlie. This immediately solved the doubts that had troubled him for 4 years and made him feel good. So he laughed, stood up, and said loudly, "Okay, that will be all for here today, let's end the meeting." Everyone's expressions were a little strange, but no one dared to say anything against it, but everyone had their own ghosts in their hearts. The vast majority of them were unwilling to see Charlie return to the Wade family in high profile. After the meeting ended, Stephen returned to his office and just sat down in his seat. He received a call from Charlie. With joy in his heart, he hurriedly connected to the phone and asked respectfully, "Master, how do you think of calling me?" Charlie asked, "Steward Stephen, is it convenient for you to speak now?" "Convenient, yes." Stephen hurriedly said, "I'm in my own office. It's very safe and confidential. You can say anything." Charlie gave a hum, and said lightly, "I am in Eastcliff and want to see you. Do you have time?" Stephen asked in surprise, "Master, have you come to Eastcliff? When did it happen?" Charlie said, "I have been here for 2 days, came over to do some things, plan to go back tomorrow. I want to see you before I leave." Stephen immediately said, "It's okay, young master, please move to the Hot Cup Tea House in Huguang Guild Hall." Charlie said, "Okay, then I will pass by now." Stephen hurriedly said, "I'll set off immediately." Huguang Guild Hall was a Qing dynasty building. It was used to entertain people from Huguang area who went to Eastcliff to rush for the exam. It is a bit similar to the Qing dynasty Huguang office in Eastcliff. Later, it gradually developed into Old Eastcliff people listening to music and having tea. Great place for an outing. Stephen invested in a tea house in Huguang Guild Hall. This tea house is antique and charming. Stephen often comes here to rest or entertain friends on weekdays. With Stephen's current status as the chief steward of the Wade family, he is considered to be the #1 person in Eastcliff. In addition to the top families, the patriarchs of other families have to be respectful in front of him, so his tea house business is very well. Many people with good looks like to come to join in. When Charlie arrived at Huguang Guild Hall, Stephen had already arrived 1 step ahead of him. He personally greeted him at the door, seeing Charlie coming with a woman wearing a mask, stunned. Stephen has been cultivating in Eastcliff for many years and has extraordinary insight into many things. He can almost see at a glance that the woman wearing a mask who came with Charlie is Sarah. At this moment, Stephen was extremely happy and said excitedly, "Master and Miss Sarah, how did you two meet together?" Sarah smiled and said, "Uncle Stephen, I'm all dressed up like this, and I can't hide from you." Stephen smiled and said, "Ms. Sarah has an extraordinary temperament. How can a mask cover it?" After that, Stephen hurriedly said again, "Young Master Miss Sarah, it is not convenient to speak here. Please follow me to the backyard." Hot Cup Tea House is divided into front yard, middle yard and backyard. They are all typical antique wooden buildings. There is also a stage inside. People often talk about crosstalk or sing Peking opera here. The front yard and the middle yard are both open to the outside world. Members of the tea house can consume here, but the backyard is not open to the outside world. This is Stephen's private domain, which is extremely confidential. Stephen respectfully invited Charlie and Sarah into the private living room in the backyard. After entering, Stephen immediately distracted all the service staff, personally invited Charlie and Sarah to sit down on the sofa, and at the same time personally used his set of precious Jianzhu tea set to make a pot of tea for the two. After passing the fragrant teacup to the two of them, Stephen couldn't hide his excitement and said, "Master, I really didn't expect you to come to Eastcliff, and you are still with Miss Sarah." Stephen had actually longed for Charlie to be willing to come back, and he had also longed for Charlie to come together with Sarah. He has been in Eastcliff for many years, and he knows the situation of Wade family and other big families very well. Based on his mastery of the entire Eastcliff family situation, he felt that the best choice for Charlie was to divorce his current wife, and then leave the small city of Orus Hill, come to Eastcliff, and get his Wade the identity of the young master, and then marry Sarah openly. In Stephen's opinion, no one in this world is more suitable for Charlie than Sarah. The two of them are simply a match made in heaven. This is not only because Charlie and Sarah originally had a marriage contract, but also because Philip is a righteous person, and their family of three values loves and righteousness.